you have really interesting things that you put in your contract, which are awesome, that I don't think things people even think about. Like,
no.
What are some of the things that you make sure you have as a right for yourself on every show?
And my contract isn't even like for somebody like that designs like Scorsese movies or like the Sandy Powell and the Sharon Davises of the world. Like their contracts are far more extensive than mine. Like mine is like slightly basic, but it has a few more things just from what I've learned in the industry. So it's not a guarantee that me as the costume designer for a film would get invited to the premiere of the film or a screening for the film. So I have to, if I want to go, it has to be in my contract that I would get invited to a premiere, or not even like red carpet, just to like go to see the film before the general public does.
Crazy.
Yeah, and I think it's a little, I think our contracts are a little dated. Like I think the way that things are set up, like DPs are still considered a more prestigious position than like a costume designer. But since social media has happened, like, you know, I'm not dissing any DPs, I love them, but like there's not a lot of kids out there that are like, I love the way that movie was lit, I'm going to be a DP. It's generally questions about costumes and set design, but we are 20 notches below a DP on the totem pole. Like we are unbelievably not equal to them in conversations, in pay, in like contract negotiations. So it would be a given that a DP would be invited to the premiere, but it wouldn't be a given that I would be. So it's just like a funny thing that I have to ask for. When working out of New York City, I have to ask for a car in my contract because it is also not a guarantee. And like, for people that work in LA, it's different because everybody owns a car. But like I live in New York City, like I hadn't owned a car when this all came about, and I worked out of town in like New Orleans and Atlanta, and I was like, wait, how do I get to...
Now you're paying, you're paying
do I have to rent my own car? Like, yeah, so I put a car in my contract.
Wow, you never think about that
I've tried to put in my contract that I have to get lunch paid for, because a lot of productions pay for lunch, and it's like
on set.
So if you're an on-set worker, I'm an on-call worker. I'm an OC. I don't have a call time. So I'm not guaranteed to be given a lunch. And like, you know, it's like we don't get a lot of time. We don't have, so for me to be able to go and eat lunch really fast, it's like, it's a benefit to me. So I have to fight to be considered like, I think I'm one of the only department heads that has to go back and forth so much from set to the production office. And but they want two separate groups, and I'm like, but sometimes I'm on set and I need to eat.
What's crazy to me is that everything you mention is not like out of this world.
No,
They're like very standard stuff.
I don't need like standard. 600 green M&Ms. I just want a way to get to set. You know?
These are your green M&Ms.
These are my green M&Ms. What else?
So you don't share your title.
Oh yeah, so
which I think is awesome. Like that's because there are usually different units.
100%.
Yeah.
So if I'm hired as a costume designer on a job, I have to have in my contract that I get a single credit, and I don't share it with anyone else. Like if they were to do reshoots on Good Burger and I wasn't available and they had to hire someone to do those, like I would still get the costume design credit because I designed the majority of the film, you know. But yeah, there's a lot of like co-credits and, you know, things that happen. Like people get really, particular about the way that their credit's seen on screen. I'm not really particular about the way it's seen. It's just that if I do all that work, it's nice.
Right. You don't want somebody that did a 1 day shoot versus your 90-day shoot to get the same credit as you. Yeah.
The other thing that really makes me angry is that costume designers do not get a single front credit or a single credit at all in television. It's only in movies. You
don't get credited in television?
You do. You just get the role, like with
at the end of it, not before.
Do not get a single credit in TV. Which is, like I said, I think that with the change in society and celebrity culture and social media and fashion, I think costume designers are sought out. Like the studios make a lot of money off of our work that we don't see any. We don't get residuals. We don't get anything like that. Like if I design a costume and it becomes a Halloween costume that like, you know, somebody makes a ton of money off of, like I don't get any money for it.
Yeah.
If the movie gets shown in Germany, I don't get any more money. Like the money I get is, that's it. There's no residuals for any of the designs that I do. If Banana Republic wanted to copy a shirt that I made and created, nothing. I get nothing. It's a huge fight in our industry.
But the studio gets it?
Yes.
Okay.
The studio owns my designs. And so that's like a big part of the contracts that my whole entire union is trying to change, because this whole thing happened with Cruella, the TV show, and they made that leather jacket that the costume designer had custom made for that movie. And they made it and they sold it and they made a ton of money, and they didn't credit her and they didn't give her any money. And I think she won. And so it's like it's hard. It's like you're really happy that people love it. But we talked about one small portion of those Good Burger uniforms. Like for somebody to just like make a onesie polyester and copy it and make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right.
Off
Because
of a design.
like you're not doing that different of a job as somebody that's designing it for a runway at Fashion
Exactly.
Week. You
Not-
know, it's
no
like,
different.
but that
Yeah.
person gets
all the
it's their
money.
design,
Yeah.
but it's not your design.
It's not my design. Like all the clothes after the movie go back to the studio. They own them, just like I don't own them. But we are trying to work on changing like owning your designs, at least if they want to be marketed.
Yeah, I
From
feel
a
like if they
standpoint,
want to
yeah.
mass produce it, you should be getting
Exactly,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like, you know, whoever designed the Scream mask, that was the costume designer or the props person. I'm not sure on that movie who did it.
They bought it from it was like a
Yeah.
dollar mask from a store already.
Yeah, but I'm sure they didn't give people residuals. Or
Oh my God.
Freddy Krueger's striped sweater.
Right.
That costume designer gets nothing, and that's a year. Like you'd be set like
Right.
for life if you
Yeah.
got just a small percentage.
Well,
of
that's
that
it. Like, do
design.
you think William Shatner got credits for the Michael Myers mask? Like,
No. But yeah, I don't know, like, what are the Halloween costumes that, like, we all wear all the time, you know? They're all designed. If you're dressing up as anyone from TV or movies or theater,
Right.
it was designed by someone like me. So it's,
Wow.
like, strange.
It's a crazy way to think about
It's a
it.
really hard gray area of, like, almost, like, intellectual property. But, like, you know.
But it is.
Yeah, but we haven't.
right.
They haven't gotten there yet.
Right. It's like it's okay. You invented something while you were working for this like
They own it.
science company. It's
Yeah,
theirs. It's not
it's
yours
theirs,
because
yeah.
you were under contract. That's
It's like the vaccine. Like whoever actually discovered the COVID vaccine.
right. But it is kind of like an interesting distinction because you know it's like you're not working for like you are working for that company, but you are. You know, it's
An
like
independent contractor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not an employee.
right.
But
So,
it's
yeah.
usually work made for hire. That's
Right.
usually what
Right.
it is. That's like what all the contracts say.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I don't know. Like I don't know what's gonna happen. Hopefully in the future it
I
changes.
mean, they should at
but,
least
like,
pay your lunch if they're not going to.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you. There's one particular production company that doesn't pay lunches during prep, and it is not very nice.
Yeah, that's pretty bullshit.